purpose of this video is to help you as a web admin navigate your Apptegy system. We want to unravel some of the knots, find some of the pages that you may have a difficult time finding, understand your navigation bar, understand the best way to add documents to your web page, and to just unravel, do some unraveling. So I'm starting in the site menu. That is probably the best way and where you will probably work most of the time. Notice in our site menu, also, I will say this before we get going, you want to open up that visit site because that's going to open up the live view. And if I open up the site menu here, I'm going to be able to figure some things out. So with those two things open, if I'm in my site menu and notice about us, you can kind of see the headers are actually the headers for your menu out here on the live web. So underneath those headers, the way it's laid out, you have what's called a parent page. Parent pages are directly underneath, but I want to show you an example. So we have parent. These are called children pages, and the child pages will be under a plus sign on the menu. So let's look at that under the counselor corner. So you can just get a better understanding of how that's going to work. Notice the plus sign, so parent, children pages. All right. If I go back out, I want you to notice that you can move anything in the menu. Okay, you can move it around. You can make anything a parent. Okay, by just scooting it over. Scooting one way or the other, you make it a child. So you can move things around. Okay, you can move from the top to the bottom. So you can navigate it that way. The next thing I want us to look at is if it's a page inside the web, you will have the option to edit from there. You'll have the option to remove it from the site menu or get what's called a relative link. The relative link is actually the back end, and I'll show you that again in just a minute. I can also archive the page from here. You may notice that when I hover across, I get the ability to add a page. And this is really nice. If I do it right here in the site menu, it's going to go ahead and be in the site menu once I publish it. And it's going to make sense in my layout. I don't have to do a lot of back work. I can also put a link directly here. We're going to talk about links next. Or I can make a whole nother header. Remember, if I make a whole nother header, it's going to go here. You know, it's one of the big bold areas. All right, so let's go back in. Let's talk about the links that we see throughout our site menu. These links are directly tied to another page, typically. So, for example, with this school safety, I can't click on it to edit it or to even see where it goes. So I have to go out here to my menu. And if I click on school safety here, I see that the school safety page is not showing up. And that could be because right now you're probably linking back to the Rutherford County School Safety and that we are not moved over to ThriftShare yet. So this will be possibly our new link. And once that's hooked up, hopefully it will all work. If it doesn't, just like you did before, when we were on Edleo, you just go to the page and get the actual live link and copy it, come over to your editor, and then you're going to click on your three dots, edit, update the link, okay, and you're ready to go again. So as you look through your page, you probably have several that are like that. You were linking back to something maybe like RCS assessment that lived on the main county page. All right, let's talk about some things that may not be linked directly to the county page. It may be a document like your handbook. So let's see if we can find that. If I go to the handbook, okay, I can't open it here, very aggravating, but I can go to the live view under students or under parents and open that handbook. So when I do that, notice it is a PDF. And I'm going to have to update it for next year. So once I go in, and maybe I only make a few tweaks, right? And I'm ready to put it back and post it back. I want to show you what Apptegy said is the recommended way to do that. So if I'm adding a link or a document, the recommended way to do that is to go into Media, and documents. In documents, notice these are actually the buckets that hold the pages or any documents that are under that site menu, under that header. So this was under student, and if I double click, that's how I get it open. Notice that here's that handbook, okay? So if I want to keep this link and not have to relink it to every place it was, then I am going to double click and it's going to open up a little slide out. If I upload the new file, then this link will remain the same and I don't have to change anything. And it's going to remain the same anywhere else in the web I might have it linked. So that's a really nice feature there. Going to close that. I can also see if I needed to download it to get to it, I could. I can even unpublish it from here. So if I need to add something to the web, I would go into my all documents, right? And this is where I would go to add and upload that file. Now the first time I link it, I will have to get the link that it created for me, right? Once I've uploaded it, it's going to give me this link that I can use. And that would be what I would link the first time if this is a brand new situation. Right? The recommendation is to put it here in documents. That way, when you need to do an update, links don't break and they don't change. Right? So let's go back now to our site menu. All right, so we've looked at the links that are direct links. We've looked at possibly links that were made out from a handout or a PDF. So now let's look at those pages that we're not quite sure where they are. So I'm going to go to athletics because that seems to be the place where this kind of all went a little haywire for us. So if I go to athletics, then I'm going to notice that I don't really have all of my sports teams here. Okay? And I need to kind of verify, are they even anywhere on my web page? So if I come here to the athletics bucket and I click on athletic teams, I can see there is something. Oh, okay, that's where my basketball is. Okay, all right. And it looks like it's got some information about tryouts. If I keep going down, got some information about coaches, the roster. All this is here. It probably was on separate pages before, and Apptegy just moved it into one page. So let's see how that page is built. Let's see how to get to these things that we just previewed. So if I go back to my site menu, this is where I'm probably going to actually now need to go to pages. So once I'm in pages, I need to look and see where athletic teams is. So here's that athletic teams page. It is published in the site menu. Okay. So how's it built? If I click on edit, and I'll click on edit again. If I click into the box and it tells me it's text and I click over, so it's telling me, all right, that these are links. So where do they live? So when I click on it and I look, this back end tells me that it's actually a page within Apptegy's web editor. I just am going to have to find it. So I'm going to look for that. If it were a document, it would say documents here. All right. So let's see if I can locate the boys soccer page. I'm going to click out. I'm going to go back to the pages, and I'm going to actually search for boys soccer and see if there's a page there. All right, where are you, boys soccer? Maybe I don't have boys soccer. Maybe I just have soccer. Okay, I have girls soccer. I'm not sure about boys soccer there. It is not in the site menu, but it is a page that's published. So let's look at that. If I click on this, notice, all right, here I am. It is there. These probably used to be individual pages. They have condensed them. Well, what is that they've condensed them into? I click on edit and I click in. Well, this is a button feature. Remember those page elements? Go back here to that. All these page elements, these are content elements. If I need to know how they work and how to use them, I can go into the question mark under Pages or under CMS and Page Builder, and the content elements will tell me, okay, what those things are that I'm seeing. I can also, if I don't want to do all that clicking, I can just go here to the handy dandy little chat and I can ask it about what that element is. So that's a button. What is this? That's a header. What we got here? This is an accordion, and that's kind of new. So each one of those little drop downs that we saw are built out into the accordion. So apparently there's one accordion, and then I can add another section. All right, so here we have, if I click, I have a link, 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 okay. So these are accordion panels and text. So this just kind of, instead of the accordion, we got table, and it's still inside the accordion. So they drug in an accordion, and then they drug in an element called table. So it's a pretty fancy webbing right there. Should you want to go back and make each one of these a page underneath soccer, we'll kind of look at that and see how that would even look. So we do know where our pages are. We do know how to edit, or we can get into edit. If I make a change, then I'm going to review the changes, okay, and then I'll publish. I didn't change anything, so I'm just going to go back out. All right. So I'm going to move out of there. I have now found and located some of the sports pages that may be hard to find. If I decide that instead of having those accordion pages, if I want to do something different when it comes to my sports pages, I just want to show you a possible option for that. All right. So should I decide I actually want to move something out here underneath the main header instead of leaving it hidden, I can go back to Pages. I need to find it. In the drop down, the three dots, I can say add it to the menu. And when I add that to the menu, it's going to put it at the bottom. From the bottom, remember, I can drag, drop, put it wherever I need it. I might have to drop it off a few times to pick it back up to get it where I want it to go. So I could possibly start putting those teams in. If girls soccer didn't want to have the accordion pages and I wanted to have a child page for each of those accordions, I can do that. Okay? So here I could put girls soccer schedule and put it under girls soccer, and then the next one might be girls soccer. Now it's not published. It won't be seen till it's published. And then I can make underneath girls soccer. I can make another page for whatever else I need to have, like roster, whatever. Girls soccer. This might be roster. Goes under the pen. Create. I'm not creating and editing. If I create and edit, I can actually get in and do stuff here. I can also, once that coach has told me it's ready to go, I can hit publish from here. I don't have to go back and find that page once I put it in. And I could start changing my page a little bit like that. So if I do that, if I go back to my navigation line, you're going to see here's girls soccer. Those pages aren't published yet. That's why I don't have a plus sign for the child pages. Once they're published, it's going to have a plus sign with the child page. Now, you can decide if you like that, it's going to make this really long, or you can continue to work off of it where it says Microsoft or Athletic Teams and just help your people learn how to edit that page inside of that accordion. All right, I'm going to get rid of those because they aren't pages at that school, so I'm going to archive them. And I'm going to, this is the actual page. I'm not going to archive it because that would mess it up. I'm just going to remove it from the menu. All right. So now we're back to how it was before. All right. So now I want to talk about what you're seeing on some of the pages that might be a little different than what we've had in the past. So I'll see if I can find that. Uh, so notice that when you open up your parent resources page and hit edit, this is just, when I click, it's just going to tell me what it is, text, an image, whatever. It's not an accordion, it makes it a little bit easier. But I want to talk about this here, this navigation. The navigation over here is directly tied to the site navigation tree for that area. So if I'm looking at parents, they're directly tied together. So anything that's in the navigation can be added over here as a shortcut to navigate here. The best way to make this is to make navigation and have it sync with the site menu. That way, anytime you add something here, it will also go into the navigation. If you don't sync, then you would have to, like if I turn this off, I have to select which pages are going to actually show up. And when I want to add a new page, I have to put in a whole new little thing. I always want to start in the site menu on the outside, and then if I want to add it to navigation, then I can come to my drop down, or I can just say sync, and it'll pull in all of the pages. All right. I feel like that gets a lot of the things that were confusing to us out of the way, and hopefully will give you a little bit better idea how to work within your page.